Know the top stories of the day. Understand the issues that matter. This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed. Hi, I'm Barbie Atienza. This is MB Now, and here are your news on web. President Rodrigo Roa Duterte asserted that there are no corruption or any anomaly in the procurement of the country's COVID-19 vaccines. He also shared that he was hurt that such allegations were thrown at his leadership. Our Malacanang senior news correspondent, Jen Cabiling, has the details.
So walang korupsyon dito kasi walang hinahawakan ni sino man sa amin dito na bilyon. Masakit sa amin na basta na lang sweeping allegations about corruption. Iyon ang pakiusap ko lang rin sa mga members ng Congress.
Addressing the nation on state television on Monday night, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte admitted that he was hurt by sweeping corruption allegations in the acquisitions of the coronavirus vaccines. Duterte claimed that the lawmaker made the allegation against the government, but he refused to identify the person. The president reiterated there is no corruption in the government's procurement of vaccines needed to protect Filipinos from the coronavirus disease. He also made it clear that he and other officials do not actually hold the money for the vaccine purchase. He explained that since the government has taken out loans for the acquisition of the vaccines, the payment will be made between the multilateral lender and the drug manufacturer.
Itong pangbayad natin sa bakuna, hiniram natin ito sa DBP pati World Bank. Wala kasi tayong pera. Ngayon, pagdating na sa bayaran, kung tapos na lahat, ang mga manufacturers, Pfizer, lahat, magkolekta sila, hindi sa atin. Doon nila kunin ang pera nila sa World Bank, pati DBP.
A Senate committee recently launched an inquiry into the government's vaccination program, grilling the administration officials about the procurement of the life-saving drugs. They called for the disclosure of the vaccine price, but the government officials declined due to the confidentiality pact with the suppliers. The palace later promised that the price of the vaccines would be revealed to the public once the supply agreements are sealed. The president meantime thanked Congress for giving the executive branch critical support to discharge its duties, particularly in the pandemic response and the vaccination program. Duterte said he appreciates the lawmakers for understanding the government in dealing with the public health emergency. Since funds have been allocated by Congress, Duterte said concerned government officials must ensure the compliance with procurement and accounting rules related to the spending of COVID funds.
My demand would really be just to follow the rules laid down by government. Anyway, lahat na dito ngayon may rules from the accounting to the up to the time of the procurement and the distribution, and of course the implementation of the mandate. Just follow the rules and we will be happy, lahat tayo. Sundin lang ninyo para walang problema. Why? The reason is really very simple. It is the people's money, tapos inappropriate ng Congress para dito.
Duterte said he does not begrudge Congress in the strict use of public funds to ensure such resources will not be wasted or go into corruption. The government earlier set aside 82.5 billion for the vaccine procurement, logistics, and other supplies amid moves to protect Filipinos from the illness. Of the total amount, around 70 billion pesos would be used for the procurement of the vaccines. The funds will be sourced from foreign, multilateral, and bilateral loans, as well as domestic borrowings. Another 10 billion pesos would be charged against the Bayanihan 2 law, while 2.5 billion from the Department of Health's 2021 budget for logistics and other supplies. For MB Now, this is Jen Cabiling reporting.
As soon as it receives a go signal from the authorities, the Department of Education expressed its readiness to resume the conduct of limited face-to-face classes at the basic education level. Undersecretary for Curriculum and Instruction, Diosdado San Antonio, told the Manila Bulletin that despite the implementation of distance learning this school year, DEPED has been preparing for the eventual resumption of physical classes. Schools under DEPED were also informed to prepare for the possible implementation of physical classes once this has been allowed by the President and other concerned agencies. Last December, DEPED recommended to the President to allow the conduct of pilot implementation or dry run of face-to-face classes in low-risk areas on a limited scale and under strict health and safety measures. The recommendation, which was supposed to be conducted in January, was initially approved by the President. However, he recalled his decision amid the threat of the new coronavirus variant. A total of 252 Filipinos in Myanmar have signified their interest to be repatriated amid the recent military takeover and arrests of leading political figures in that country, including former Nobel Peace Prize winner and democracy icon Aung San Suu Kyi. The Department of Foreign Affairs made this announcement on Tuesday, saying that the department and the Philippine Embassy in Yangon are finalizing a charter flight agreement to bring home those Filipinos. There are more or less 1,000 Filipinos in Myanmar, according to DFA estimates. The latest development contradicts a tweet made by Foreign Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr. on Monday, who said that the comparatively few Filipinos in Myanmar are safe as he sees no need to extricate them at this time, even when huge anti-coup protest rallies are being held in Yangon, Mandalay, and in the capital Nay Pyi Taw. Protesters in Myanmar have taken to the streets against the coup for 3 consecutive days, while also calling for the release of Suu Kyi from detention. Calling all photography and astronomy enthusiasts, the Philippine Astronomic, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration, or PAG-ASA, is inviting you to their mobile phone moon silhouette photography contest in celebration of the 28th National Astronomy Week this month. To join, a participant must submit a photo of the moon silhouette taken in the Philippines using only a mobile phone from February 15 to 17, 2021. PAG-ASA said the photo must not contain any copyrighted material, including artworks and other photo, date stamps, watermarks, or any text on the image. Photo manipulation is also not allowed, as post-processing of the image is limited to cropping and color enhancement, including shadow and highlights only. The submission of entries will be from February 18, 2021 at 9 a.m. PAG-ASA said only 1 entry per person is allowed, and the first 50 entries will be considered. The competition is open to the general public except for PAG-ASA employees and their immediate relatives. Winners will receive cash prizes. In Metro News, DOH commends Muntinlupa LGU's COVID-19 vaccination plan and best practices. Some 600 motorists apprehended in Quezon City for using bike lanes. And Manila market vendors comply with pork and chicken price cap. More from this report.
The Department of Health commended the Muntinlupa City Government's coronavirus disease vaccination plan and other best practices during an assessment visit by the National Task Force against COVID-19 and coordinated operations to defeat the epidemic team in the city. DOH lauded the city's end-to-end planning for the rollout of COVID-19 vaccines from the procurement process up to the ancillary equipment disposal. Of the 540,773,000 total population of Muntinlupa, 383,21,000 individuals or 70% are eligible for the COVID-19 vaccination. vaccination. The target is to vaccinate 8,200 individuals per day. DOH also noted the strong public-private partnership for the local vaccination plan and underscored the importance of cooperation among stakeholders as the primary advice of the MTF against COVID-19 Chief Implementer Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. A total of 618 motorists have been apprehended and fined by the local government of Quezon City for using bike lanes, including through overtaking and illegal parking since the start of the year. Citing the city's bike lane apprehension report, Mayor Joy Belmonte on Monday said there were 524 violators on the month of January, while 94 from February 1 to 6. The measure imposes penalties against motorists using or obstructing cycling lanes in the city, while range from 1,000 to 5,000 pesos. Pedicab are likewise prohibited along bicycle lanes, and violators will be meted with penalties of 300 pesos fine or community service. Vendors selling pork and chicken in Manila Public Market are complying with the price ceiling mandated by President Duterte, the city government reported on Tuesday. According to Manila Market Administration Office, vendors selling pork and chicken in Paco Market, Central Market, Dagonoy Market, Wagas Market, and Santa Ana Market are complying with the price cap. But vendors at Obrero Market are still not selling pork and chicken to prevent losses. On Monday, the first day of the EO's effectivity, several vendors declared a pork holiday by not selling pork and chicken.
Here are more top news in other parts of the country. Bacolod to require contact tracing card in all establishments. And top Mindanao NPA leader and two others killed in North Cotabato clash. Here are the details.
The city of Bacolod will require individuals entering business establishments, including hotels and restaurants, to present a contact tracing card starting March 1. The Backtrack contact tracing system is a web-based and mobile-based app developed for efficient and expeditious contact tracing of confirmed COVID-19 positive patients and will consequently allow the Emergency Operations Center Task Force to easily locate people suspected of having contact with COVID-19 patients. The use of the Backtrack system is mandatory for business establishments and government offices in the city. Penalties up to 5,000 pesos and or imprisonment for not more than 6 months await those who will violate the said ordinance. A suspected high-ranking regional leader and two other sub-commanders of the Communists' New People's Army operating in North Cotabato were killed in a clash against joint police and military operatives in remote Sitio Matangao, Barangay Sarayan on Monday. Authorities identified the slain suspects as Buenaventura Dawal, Executive Committee Chairman of the NPA Southern Mindanao Regional Command, and his companions Dennis Nogolios and a certain Alambro. The police and military were serving an arrest warrant for murder charges at around 5:30 a.m. when the suspects fired at them. The suspects died on the spot. Records show that Dawal is also the former secretary of the NPA Southern Regional Committee 5 operating in Davao Region.
Now in world news, the Pope urges prompt release of detained Myanmar leaders. Iran unveils second homegrown virus vaccine project. And Austrians rush to get haircuts, but only after a negative COVID-19 test. Let's watch this.
Pope Francis on Monday called for political leaders imprisoned during Myanmar's coup to be promptly released in a speech to ambassadors to the Holy See. It was his second intervention on Myanmar in 2 days after he used the opportunity of his Sunday recital of the Angelus prayer to express his solidarity with the people of the country he visited in 2017. Myanmar's general issued a stern warning against further protests on Monday as mass uprising against their coup gathered pace, with hundreds of thousands on the streets demanding the release of ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi. The military last week detained Suu Kyi and dozens of their other members over National League for Democracy Party, ending a decade of civilian rule and triggering widespread international condemnation. Iran unveiled its second homegrown coronavirus vaccine project Monday, the day before the launch of the vaccination campaign to combat the Middle East's deadliest COVID-19 outbreak. The vaccine, dubbed Razi-Cov-Spars, was developed at the Razi Vaccine and Serum Research Institute, which is linked to the Agriculture Ministry. At the start of Phase 1 of clinical trials, 13 volunteers between the ages of 18 and 55 will receive a jab. The unveiling comes the day before the launch Tuesday of the campaign to vaccinate Iran's 80 million plus population, starting with a Sputnik 5 job, according to Health Minister Saeed Namaki. After 6 weeks of lockdown, shops, hairdressers, and beauty salons are reopening in Austria. But before you enter hair salon, customers must now present a negative test COVID-19 results within 48 hours and wear a face mask. Complaints from hairdressers about the new rules have surfaced in the Austrian press, with some pointing out of difficulty of getting tested in rural areas. But for those who wants to get rid of the stress brought by the pandemic and have themselves total makeover, they must comply and strictly follow the health precautionary measures.
In entertainment, James Reid surprised his fans when he recently announced that he will no longer be part of the Soulmate Project. During a live stream, an netizen asked about James' upcoming TV series with South Korean star Nancy Mcdonie. James simply said that he won't be doing Soulmate anymore. The said project was scheduled for release in 2020, but it was reset due to the pandemic. According to its director, Antoinette Hadaone, the Soulmate Project is set in a non-pandemic world and it is not meant to be shot during the pandemic with only 70 people allowed in the set. The director also explained that she doesn't want to revise and scale down the project just to fit the safety protocols. Sometime last year, when James and Nancy did some screenshots and workshops in preparation for the said show. In sports, Senator and Chairman of the Senate Committee on Sports, Christopher Bong Go, appealed to Vaccine Czar General Carlito Galvez Jr. to prioritize for COVID-19 vaccination the Filipino athletes and other delegates who will be participating in the upcoming Tokyo Olympics and the Southeast Asian Games in Hanoi, both slated this year. In a statement, Go said that Galvez responded positively to the appeal, adding that they are currently studying how the athletes can be prioritized alongside and without prejudice to other sectors that have already been identified as top priority for vaccination, such as frontliners and those belonging to poor and vulnerable sectors. Go noted that athletes bring pride to the country and give Filipinos a sense of unity. He also emphasized that this is not merely about competition, but is also a source of livelihood for athletes and other sports professionals. Currently, national athletes are preparing for the Tokyo 2021 Olympics and the 2021 SEA Games in Hanoi, Vietnam, to defend the Philippines championship title and the Asian Indoor and Martial Arts Games to be held in Thailand in May next year. In Chinese calendar, 2021 is the year of the mighty metal ox, and they say that it is a good and auspicious year. Well, let's find out what's in store for 2021, the year of the mighty metal ox, tomorrow at 10 a.m. here at the Manila Bulletin's official Facebook page as our very own Manila Bulletin Associate Editor, Miss Julie Yap Daza, talks to a feng shui expert about health, business, love, and many more. You may also grab a copy of tomorrow's Manila Bulletin newspaper that comes with a special Chinese New Year supplement. Again, that's tomorrow, February 10 at 10 a.m. here at Manila Bulletin's official Facebook page. And those are the news on web today, February 9, 2021. For more news and details, get your copy of Manila Bulletin newspaper tomorrow or log on to www.mb.com.ph. You may also subscribe to our newsletter through the link on this video's caption to have the day's latest news delivered to your inbox. I am Barbie Atienza for Manila Bulletin. Join us again tomorrow. This has been MB Now. Be fully informed.